we have Brody White joining us from Chop and Block on this Thursday afternoon. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you, Susan.
Yeah, we are talking all about charcuterie plates today, which are kind of all the rage right now at restaurants.
Yeah, absolutely. So charcuterie and salumi are two things that we're really trying to get into at the store.
Okay, what's salumi?
Salumi is basically the plural word for salami.
Oh.
So, there's lots of different groups of salamis that are salumi that fall under that term. Charcuterie, I guess, would be a broader term. So there's lots of cooked charcuterie and raw charcuterie, or dried and smoked and fermented. So.
What does that mean in another? Obviously, it's a French word.
Charcuterie is basically just it's meat for the most part that's been cured and cooked or dried in some way, shape, or form, and we eat it as a cold item.
Okay, because many of the charcuterie plates I've had end up having other things on them, like cheeses and chutneys and
we
nuts.
definitely use that term a little bit more broadly than maybe we should, but
it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah.
And in fact, I was at Terra restaurant a few weeks ago, and we had a charcuterie plate there, and a lot of it came from your place.
Yeah, David's been really good to us, and he's taken a lot of our products and helping us with the trial and error process and giving us his opinion, and it's going really well.
Awesome. Yeah. So we're going to talk about some of the different things that are on the counter.
Yeah, so we've got a number of different things, and I really only scratched the surface about the amount of varieties that we're doing at the store. Most of it being the little guys. So the saucisse en sec, which is a French variety of just dried pork garlic sausage. We have a chorizo here, which is Spanish in origin. And then we get into the Italian stuff. So we've got some finocchione over here, which is a dried fennel salami. Coppa here, which is like capicola, but capicola is actually cooked, whereas coppa is just dried out. So,
is that right?
Yeah, it's like a 6-month process where you salt cure it and then you hang it up to dry it out.
And then this is liver pate?
This is pate, yeah. So it's pate de campagne, which is a country-style pate because it's coarse ground. So there is pates that are much more finer. That would be a pate de cognac, or there's a bunch of other varieties that are much more finer, but we stick with the campagne because it's a little bit more meaty and a little bit more approachable for most people, I find.
Okay, and then look at the size of this.
Yeah, pepperoni. So
pepperoni.
this is our giant pepperoni. We sell this at the farmer's market on Saturdays, and it goes over really quite well. People like to kind of have sword fights with it and stuff. So that's our North American variety of salumi.
That's awesome. Yeah. I want to talk a little bit as well as we go over to the other side about the fact that there is mold on this, and I mean that's obviously for a reason. Yeah,
so because of the long drying process that we use, so it could be up to 6, 8, 10 weeks. This big guy in the back here has already been in the drying room for 12 weeks, I believe. You want to use the good molds and to combat the bad molds. So good molds, we actually inoculate it with a mold. We spray it down just like cheesemakers would do if you find it on the camembert where it's got that kind of white powdery looking mold. It's basically the same stuff. And we spray it on there just to kind of take over the surface area of the product, and then it controls the drying process. So if we didn't have it there, it might dry out too fast, and then we'd get a nice, or like a hard crust on the outside, and it wouldn't let the inside dry out. This allows it to kind of dry uniformly over the 6 to 12 week drying time.
Okay, so what are some of these? What's this?
This is pancetta, so it's that pork belly that's been salt cured, rolled, dried. This is calabrese, which is just a spicy Italian style salumi, which is we've done in a long stick. We're going to cut it into chunks, and basically you would slice it up and put it on our charcuterie plate.
This might sound ignorant, but what animal does this come from?
This is all pork, except for the pepperoni, which is a blend of pork and beef. Pork is definitely the king in the charcuterie world. We love pork. It's just got a great ratio of fat to meat, and fat is super important in salami. Because you're drying it out. The fat maintains that moisture right through the drying process.
How long does this stuff take? I mean, how long is it drying out for?
These little guys take about 3 weeks, and we've got it kind of nailed now. It's 3 weeks on the mark. This one was probably 4 or 5 weeks right now. These guys, again, I think it's 10, 12 weeks that it's been drying out for, and I think we're going to start slicing into that pretty soon. These larger salamis, that was about 6 weeks now it's been in the drying room.
And they hang right from the
string.
string.
And they hang right from the string. I should have brought some pictures of the drying room. It's actually quite cool to look at sometimes.
That's really cool. So a lot of work goes into this.
Yeah, absolutely. And we do brush the mold off. So as you can see, like this one's quite white. This is our Genoa salami. This looked like that in the drying room, but we brushed it off and then before we slice it, we'll peel the casing off, and then we'll slice it up.
So a lot of work goes into this. You guys sell a lot of this, obviously.
We're starting to. This is a new endeavor for us.
Sure.
We're having a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah.
But this trial and error process is extremely slow, as you can imagine.
Sure.
With, 10-week dry times. So.
Yeah.
But for me, I mean, just being a cook my whole life, it's been a great experience. It's a totally different department that we're kind of going down. So.
That's awesome. So you can go out for charcuterie, but you can also make your very own and come down to.
Yeah, absolutely. You can come check us out, and we've got all these items in store. If you want to make your charcuterie plate, if you just like it, to ask us to make it for you, we can do that as well. Just give us an idea of what kind of items you like, and we'll totally make it work.
Fantastic. Quick break. When we come back, we're going to be putting together a bit of a charcuterie plate right here on the show. We're back in 2 minutes. Stay with us.
I couldn't keep her away from it.
This is delicious. You wanted me to try the pate, but instead I opted for the pepperoni stick. It's so good. So good.
Yeah.
So what are we doing here?
We're going to just put together a simple plate. I probably wouldn't even call this a charcuterie plate. Like this, for me, is dinner.
And you know what? That's what it ended up being when we were at Terra. We ordered entrees, but we got a big charcuterie plate to start.
Perfect.
Guess what? We were really full, and we thought we should have just ordered 2 of these.
Perfect. That's all you need.
You can make a full meal out of this.
Yeah. At Terra, too. And then
at Terra.
And then the next day, he'll come up and buy some more for me.
And you know what? I really, really love and support the restaurants in town that support local business, right?
Yeah, it's really good. I should actually talk about as well Brew Loops, which is coming up on October 1st. We're going to have a big spread of charcuterie there. It's going to be a great time. So you're talking about local restaurants. There's going to be lots of local restaurants, lots of local breweries. We each get paired up with a brewery, and we just serve good food and drink some good beer.
We don't have the Brew Loops thing on our show. Bryce Herman tried to line it up, but we're so full. So tell me a little bit about when it's going on and where it's taking place.
Saturday, I didn't prepare for this. Saturday, October 1st at the Rex is Brew Loops, and it's gonna be a great time. I think there's still tickets up for sale, as far as I know. I should have gotten that information before I came today.
That's all right. Off the top of your head, who are you being paired off with? And
it's I think it's called Four Winds Brewery off the coast. It was actually really cool. They put us with it's a really spicy beer. It's got habanero and mango in it, as far as I know, which will be really interesting to pair with some of the spicier salamis that we're doing.
So Brew Loops is this weekend at the Rex?
Next weekend. October 1st.
Okay, good to know. That's important.
I hope it's next weekend.
You know what? If it's not, we'll make a correction later. You can look it up online.
Well, if it's this weekend, I probably won't be there. So.
Okay, so it's probably next weekend. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what's on here.
Yeah, so this is just our pâté de campagne. So pork liver, pork fat, and pistachios. So really all you need with this is some mustard, pickles, and some nice crusty bread. And quite honestly, that's my dinner for sure.
Yeah?
When my wife's not home. she probably wouldn't go for that. But
that's awesome. And how long does it take to make pâté?
Pâté, that's actually not a long process. It's they bug me at the store, but it is a fancy meatloaf. So it's really a matter of grinding meat, seasoning them well, and then cooking it off. You don't want to. Maybe you want to be a little bit more careful in the cooking process. I cook mine for about 6 hours at a very low temperature. Yeah. Just so I don't get too much shrinkage, and it retains more moisture. Yeah. So it's moisture when you eat it.
When you say cook, is it in the oven or?
It's in the oven. Yeah.
Just really?
It's in a bread pan. But,
really?
Yeah. And we do cook it in a water bath. So we take that bread pan and then put it in a water bath, like you were making a creme brulee or some sort of baked custard. Yeah. It's just so it's a little bit more even heat, and you don't get any like brown rings around the outside. It's a nice even pink color throughout.
Awesome. You guys are doing all kinds of fun experimental things.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's really fun. Yeah.
If you'd like to try any of these great things, you can either head down to Chop and Block, check them out there. Certainly the easiest way to go about getting some of this great stuff. SpruceGoose.ca as well online. We are back after a quick break.